Hey guys, it's Nod Lammers and Invoked 101. Welcome back, and today we're going to be taking a look at a deck that, I'm not going to lie, I was super excited to find out that it was in Rise of the Duelist. I felt in my soul that these cards were going to be in there, and so I'm very excited to bring you my updated post-Rise of the Duelist Speedroid deck profile. Before we get into it, I do just want to mention down in the description, if you feel like supporting the channel, there's a couple links down there you can use, as well as joining the Discord, which includes our tournaments that we have every Friday. Also, if you're really into Speedroids, my Discord is actually just a secret Speedroid cult, so if you feel like checking that out, feel free to. With that said, I'm going to set the extra deck, the spells and traps off to the side, and we'll get right into the main deck monsters. We're of course using the Crystal Wing mat from Shining Victories because I felt it was appropriate. Starting us off, obviously, is our one copy of Terratop. One copy actually doesn't matter anymore because of the another card in this deck, which helps bolster consistency immensely, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But for that one Terratop, I played 2 Tactomberg. You really do want to search this card out, I feel, because opening it is not as optimal as opening the other card that we have, which I'll talk about that when we get there. So I only play 2. If you want, you could play 3. I've thought about bumping him back up to 3, but so far 2 has been working out for me as I've been playing. I played 2 double yo-yo. The reason you play 2 instead of 1, because realistically you only need to play 1, is because you can sometimes open it. And I don't necessarily like opening double yo-yo, but there's actually a play where you want to see double yo-yo in your hand, and that's kind of the big reason why. You also want to search this off of Rubber Band Shooter. Moving into our 3 of Speedroids, our first 3 of is Triple Horse. Horse is really important for the Rubber Band Shooter play. He's also really important for starting things. Basically what this deck wants to do is not use its normal summon to make Rubber Band Shooter, and then use Rubber Band Shooter to attempt to search Terratop and Double Yo-Yo, and then you'll use that, and then if you have Horse, you guarantee yourself a level 3 and a level 4, no matter what. So, but yeah, 3 Horse Stilts. Although the way that this plays now, it does kind of change the way that you search Terratop and the way you do things. Which I personally am still trying to figure out, but the plays that it used to do are still the same. After that, we have 3 Marble Machine, which is kind of like Terratop 2.0. 3 Marble Machine I think is kind of mandatory at this point, especially with all the stuff that now special summons itself. He's amazing and great to have. Another card that's amazing and great to have, and brand new out of Rise of the Duelist, is 3 Speedroid Kart Turbo. I can't tell you how excited I was when I heard that this was in the set, and how disappointed I was when I heard it was an ultra rare. I guess he does kind of match, like, Speedroids actually do have a lot of like hollow cards, so I think I would have been a little bit upset if he was not hollow, but I really do think this card should have been a super. I think it being an ultra is a little bit much. But anyways, if you don't know what Speedroid Kart Turbo does, he's a level 3 wind machine tuner, which is really important. He has the ability, if you control a wind monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is an activated effect. Also, you cannot activate monster effects for the rest of his turn except wind. So he's kind of like what the errata for Terratop should have been. But anyways, it says you can banish this card and 1 Speedroid monster from your graveyard. All wind monsters you control currently gain 800 attack until the end of this turn. You'll only use each effect of Kart Turbo once per turn. And yeah, very cool card, very useful, just an extra special summonable tuner. That's level 3. I love him. I think he's one of the greatest cards that's ever existed for Speedroids. Next up, one of the other greatest cards that's ever existed for Speedroids is 3 Speedroid Red-Eye Dice. This card is nuts. He is the best tuner in the deck, in my opinion. On normal or special summon, you get to target another Speedroid you control, except for Red-Eye Dice, and modulate its level between 1 and 6. So he really does set up your all your plays and whatnot. Like, the level 3 tuners are really important, but Dice, being a level 1 tuner, being able to modulate levels, he's super good. The last tuner that we play is Triple Den Den Daiko Duke. He's really important as well because he can revive any Speedroid tuner from the graveyard, but he can also special summon them from the hand by banishing himself from the graveyard. So he's really good and really useful. And the last Speedroid monster we play, I play 1 Rubber Band Plane. I was actually testing out 2 of this, but then I was working on another build, but they announced Kart Turbo and the other card, the Ceratop Searcher. And yeah, so as I was putting the deck together, I wanted to keep him in the deck because he is useful. He does have reasons to exist, and he is another special summon because his effect is whenever you special summon a monster, you can special summon him, but you can't special summon except for wind for the rest of the turn, which, as previously mentioned, is not a problem for Speedroids. We're used to it. So it's in a weird spot. I would like to play more, and I might cut another card to play another copy, but I'm not sure. That's it for the Speedroid monsters in the deck. We do have some other monsters. This is a very monster-heavy strategy. So if you're not into decks that use loads of monsters to get where they're going, this might not be a deck for you. But moving into the next cards, we have, finally to the TCG, our Ceratop Searcher. Win the Wind Channeler, and there is the beautiful Starlight Rare that we got at the sneak peek. Mio ended up pulling this out of like her first pack, and I couldn't have been more excited. This is the best. Like, I've pulled a couple other Starlights. I've pulled the Arua, and I've pulled a Chamber Dragon Maid, which I think I posted on my Instagram, but this is the one that I ended up selling both of those. This is the one I was like, I need to keep this one. But yeah, Win the Wind Channeler. If you don't know what she does, it says this card is always treated as a Charmer card, which is fine. That doesn't really matter for Speedroids. What matters is this other effect that says you can discard this card and one other wind monster, add a wind monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand, except Win the Wind Channeler. You cannot activate monster effects for this turn, except wind monsters. So she has another effect, which is if a wind monster is destroyed by battle while this card's in your hand, you can special summon her, which is really neat because that means she's not totally dead if you draw her later in the game. But this searches your whole deck. It searches like everything in your deck, except for like a couple cards, because all the Speedroids have less than 1800 defense, or less than 1500 defense, and Ceratop happens to be the most important one in there, so you can just straight search Ceratop and then start popping off. And the fact that it sends a card to graveyard, like you have to discard another card, can just be potential setup. You send a tuner, you can bring it back with either Yo-Yo, or you could bring it back with Den. Or if you send Den, Den's just going to get you advantage from the hand later on when you're continuing your plays off of the Ceratop. So, really cool, really good card, and I'm so excited to have this in the deck. Like, I can't even explain how long I've wanted that card to come out. Next up is 3 Red-Haired Hasty Horse. I've thought about this card. This is the card I would cut to 2 to put in the other Rubber Band plane. Or this other card, because I'm not totally sure how I feel about this other card yet. I'm not totally sure how I feel about this card moving forward. But Hasty Horse is really cool. It just summons itself to a zone, to a column where there's no cards. But if a card enters that column, it kills itself, like it blows up. So you do kind of have to be wary about that. But aside from that, Red-Haired Hasty Horse is just a free material, and I like him. I've liked playing this card a lot in the deck, and I definitely have no regrets continuing to play it because it's just a free summon as a wind monster, and it won't always be dead like those cards that are like if you control no monsters. This says if there's no cards in a column, which is much easier to kind of manipulate than no monsters, I feel. So there we go. Then we have 2 Windwitch Snowbell. This is another card I've thought about cutting to 1. I like two, but now that it's searchable off of the win, there's multiple things you can do with this, and I don't know. I think 2 is good for now, but we'll see if I keep liking it. Then I play 1 Tempest. Tempest is an easy pick for this deck because you can just go into Kite Drake with it, and it also gives you an extra beater. This is coincidentally, these 2 are, I believe, the only 2 cards in the main deck you can't search with win. But yeah, Tempest. I've been playing Tempest for a while. No more Lightning. I cut Lightning for the other things because I don't think he's as important now because you just send Tempest with either Foolish Burial or the Horse Stilts. But yeah, so there we go. That is the monster lineup for the deck, and I'm so happy with it. Oh my god, I've been playtesting this deck against my buddy, and it's so good. As for spells, moving into those, 3 Speed Recovery. I think you have to play 3 Speed Recovery in Speedroids. It's Monster Reborn, and this deck desperately needs to be constantly bringing stuff back from the grave. Like it's really cool. And so it also banishes itself to add 1 back to hand, which is really nice. Double Speed Lift. I think this is kind of the general gist, is that 2 Speed Lift is correct. This is a really cool card. If you control a tuner and no other monsters, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Speedroid from your deck. Opening both of these in a tuner is really nice because you just normal summon the tuner and get 2 free guys. and your opponent can't activate neither player can activate cards and effects when that monster's summoned. Next up, triple Called By. This deck is kind of glass cannon-y, and I would not cut Called By for anything in the world. A newcomer to my build is I just realized these cards are really high up. A newcomer to the deck is World Legacy Succession. I'm playing 2 because you're always going to go into Rubber Band Shooter. You're always going to go into Shooter, and this is just more Monster Reborns for the deck, and I really feel that this is a card we should have been playing earlier, like as Speedroid players. And speaking of Monster Reborn, 1 Foolish. Both of these are really good for the deck. This gets set up for these cards, for these 6 cards. We're playing 6 Monster Reborns, but this sets up that. It also sets up Tempest in the grave. It does a lot for the deck. There's many things in this deck that actually do well in the graveyard. So, with all that said, that is it for the main deck. We're gonna move right along into the extra, where there hasn't been any major changes. So starting us off, of course, is double Rubber Band Shooter. And these are the only 2 links I play. I've thought about playing a Rorodon. I really have, but at this current time, I'm not playing a Rorodon and I'm not playing O-Lion. I feel like that takes up too much resources that you could use for synchro summoning that this guy on his own uses. I did have a build before Cart Turbo and Wind came out that used Quick Draw Synchron to go into a Rorodon and Needle Fiber and stuff like that. So if you guys want to see that version, I can show it to you guys, but I gotta know that you guys want to see that. But for now, 2 Rubber Band Shooter. He does everything for the deck, and he's fantastic and amazing. He's everything that a Link monster should have been. Moving to the Synchros, 1 Martial Metal Marcher for the same reason that it just helps make Crystal Wing. It does things like that. It's just a really useful monster. 1 Hagoda. Hagoda has become really useful. I'm slowly discovering how good Hagoda is now that we have multiple level 3 tuners. Like, there's been multiple times where I've used Hagoda. Like, I've synchroed into Hagoda, been able to leave a level 3 tuner on the field, synchroed it into Crystal Wing, and then special summon Tactomberg, turned Tactomberg into Cart Turbo, and then brought Hagoda back, and then synchroed into another Crystal Wing with that. So then I have 238 Crystal Wings that I can just swing with. It's very nice, and Hagoda has become, is slowly becoming one of my favorite high Speedroids just because of how versatile he is now. Next up is 2 Chanbara. I like Chanbara. He's actually the one that, like, if I need to search a 1 and a 4 or a 2 and a 3, so Marble Machine and like Den or Cart Turbo or Tactomberg, I will actually banish one of my Chanbaras, which does kind of suck, but typically a Chanbara and a Crystal Wing lets you push for game, and Chanbara gets even better with Cart Turbo because when Chanbara declares an attack, on that first attack with the Cart Turbo buff, he will be at 3,000. So it really makes a difference with Chanbara, and then his second attack is 32, so he gets pretty big, which is very nice. 1 Raptite, which also becomes 3k after you use Cart Turbo, meaning we can actually use Raptite as a beater now, which is very nice because originally he is really small, he's only 22, but Raptite is also one of our more useful monsters, being a DD Crow for the deck, so really like Raptite. Our piece of back row removal, Wind Pegasus Ignister. I don't know if this was in my last profile. I don't know if I showed my that I was actually playing Ignister in my last one. I've come around to it. I originally wasn't the biggest fan of Wind Pegasus Ignister, but being able to pop a back row and the fact that, like, if your Raptite or your Crystal Wing dies, you get to bounce a card back to their hand, I like that. I do forget about this a lot in the graveyard IRL though. 1 Fast Dragon. I think Fast Dragon at 1 is perfectly fine. I don't think you need any more than him. And then 2 Clear Wings. Clear Wing is, of course, the card we banish off of that, which is why we need 2. But yeah, Clear Wing, still really good, still really useful for the deck, especially mostly as a stepping stone. But, you know, he still does have a purpose for the strategy. And then 2 Crystal Wing Synchro Dragons. Crystal Wing is, of course, our true boss monster, I feel. Like, this is the thing that we're working towards. And I really like it. I still really like this card. It's my favorite card in the whole game. So, of course, I don't know. I think, and like being able to double Crystal Wing like as easily as we can now, I've thought about putting in a 3rd, but we actually have a 3rd level 8 that serves another purpose, which is Kite Drake. Kite Drake is just, he's a very good utility card, being able to negate everything, which I did against my friend who was playing Tenyi. I negated his whole board, and then you're able to just swing into stuff with him. He's a Black Rose that stays otherwise, like you just gonna nuke the board and he has 3k. So he's a really useful monster in a lot of different situations. and I definitely like Kite Drake, especially since he floats into Speedroids as well. And our final card that we're playing is one Mistworm. Mistworm is in here because I have had moments where I can't summon anything else and I need to break the board, and Mistworm is what it is, because he is while it does target, he does put him back in the hand, so it is something that Kite Drake doesn't really do. He negates all the things, but Mistworm, if they don't have negates and they just have big bodies, you can easily go into Mistworm, bounce all that stuff to the hand, swing for 25. If you have Cart Turbo, which is completely possible now, he'll be a 800, so he'll be 33, I believe. So yeah, he'll just swing for 33 directly, which is very nice. But yeah, and that is it for the Speedroid deck. I do have a side deck, but it's just Kaijus. Like it's just Kaiju Slumbers right now. It's not even a full side deck, but I do have one for this deck because I play it a lot, and I've taken it to locals to play and experiment around with and just see how the deck functions. But with that said, that is it for my Speedroid deck. I love this deck a lot. I've played this deck for so many years, and I've never had a bad time playing it. I love this deck so much, and I don't know, there's not a lot more I can say about it. I'm super excited that we have Win. I'm super excited that we have Cart Turbo. So let me know what you guys' thoughts about this deck in the comments below are, because I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And while you're down there, feel free to check out the description where there's a couple different links you can use to directly support the channel, including joining the Discord where we have tournaments every Friday. With that said, thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video.